What's one thing in the world of travel that literally no one wants to talk about until it's needed? Travel insurance. If you've ever tried to file a claim, you know what an adventure that can be. Well, today we speak with Lauren Gumport with Faye to talk about how they're trying to reinvent the customer experience. Episode 103 starts now.
Welcome to the Family Vacationer with Rob and Danny. The go-to podcast for families on the move.
Welcome, friends. I'm Rob.
And I'm Danny, and this is episode 103 of the Family Vacationer. We're so glad to have you with us on another episode. You know, last week we wrapped up our series on college towns with a look at beautiful Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Now, if you missed that show, make sure you go back and listen. And while you're at it, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss an episode.
That's right. And today is the episode everyone has been waiting on.
Yes.
Travel insurance, right?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Nobody? Okay.
We need to know.
I get it. It's a topic that doesn't excite very many people, but it is something that the traveling public needs to have as much information on as possible. Now, thankfully, as a travel agent, it's not really a hard sell any longer, thanks to COVID and the fact that it's changed everything, including changing travel insurance to a degree. As I mentioned in the show open, if you've ever tried to file a travel insurance claim, you understand how challenging that can be and that the response time can be lengthy. However, there is a company seeking to change the customer experience, and they're called Faye. Faye is 100% digital travel insurance. It's an app that you download to your phone. They offer 24/7 support for emergencies. They offer travel tips, and they offer speedy reimbursements to the Faye wallet. We'll talk more about that later. Mm-hmm. It's been named a must-download travel app by Fodor's Travel.
Yes, and joining us today to talk about Faye is Lauren Gumport. Lauren is the Vice President of Communication and Brand at Faye, passionate about the mix of travel and tech and how the combination of the two transforms experiences. Lauren has 10 plus years of experience in launching high growth startups to global audiences. An award-winning media relations executive with a love for all things travel and travel tech. Lauren can oftentimes be found working as a digital nomad, defining and shaping the next trends in travel. Lauren's commentary has been published in outlets including BuzzFeed, USA Today, The Wall Street Journal, and Forbes. Lauren, thank you so much for taking time to be with us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Lauren, we mentioned on the show open about, how travel insurance isn't the funnest topic for people until that emergency pops up where they need it.
Yeah.
What do you think are some common misconceptions that travelers have about travel insurance?
I think it's a great question. There are really four that pop up the most, I would say. So number one, many think they should only purchase travel insurance if their trip is expensive. And in reality, missed flights and lost luggage are more common than I think we all think, especially in today's travel market, no matter the price point of the trip.
Right.
Number two, many think their health insurance covers them while they're abroad. And, I want to point out that most health insurance providers don't fully cover illness and treatment when you're abroad or even out of state. And, what about flights and hotels and bags and prepaid activities, for example? Many consumers also think their credit cards fully protect them while they're on a trip. And, many credit card companies do offer various travel protections, but not whole trip travel coverage. So I would say benefits are limited. And lastly, so many travelers think that they don't need travel insurance for domestic trips, but anyone can benefit from travel insurance traveling domestically or internationally because it can cover these unexpected events, including medical emergencies and cancellations and interruptions. So, I would consider travel insurance, if you're going to a honeymoon in Hawaii or taking the family to Disney World in Florida or snowboarding in Colorado, because, accidents can really just happen anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And I think medical expenses is something people really don't associate. Most people don't associate with travel insurance. They're just thinking cost of the trip, delays, that kind of thing. But if you, God forbid, if you get injured or something happens when you're on a trip, those expenses can pile up quickly.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's talk about the experience of purchasing travel insurance with Faye, which, as we've mentioned, is an app that you download for your phone. What does that look like?
Yeah. So if you're not using a travel agent, you can go to our website, www.withfaye.com, and answer a handful of questions. It's really a super simple, easy purchase process. So
Mhm.
that includes your destination, who you're traveling with, the length of your trip, and then we also offer some valuable coverage add-ons that I think we're going to talk about later. And
Mhm.
really, you can protect your trip in under 60 seconds. You can also do so on the Faye app, which we have on iOS and Android. But if you're a first-time user, definitely head to our website first to learn more about our coverage and just get to know us.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Lauren, when Faye entered the market, what did you see as like the biggest pain points for travelers trying to use travel insurance?
I think that there were and still are many pain points in the travel insurance ecosystem because it's this space that has undergone very little innovation. So, it tends to be chock full of lengthy jargon-filled policies that leave
Yeah.
travelers confused rather than informed. And the claims process, if you've ever had to file a claim, it's slow and bureaucratic and requires excessive paperwork and lengthy wait times.
Yeah.
And there's really been no brand working to build a strong connection with consumers. So I think travel insurance of the past has felt more like this distant service that's hard to reach. And we really created Faye as a solution to these pain points. Our product is clear
Mhm.
and holistic. You know what coverage you're purchasing and how you're protected pre-trip and in-trip. We're digital and quick. From getting covered to receiving assistance to filing claims, you can file a claim in the Faye app. There's no paperwork involved. And I think above all, we're really person first. So our
Good.
team of customer experience specialists are available 24/7. That's
Mhm.
phone, email, chat, WhatsApp, etc. You name it, you can reach us in so many ways. Um, and we're there to provide travelers with this proactive trip assistance when it matters most. Which I think a lot of travel insurance providers, they say that you can be contacted 24/7, but in reality, you just can't reach them when it matters most. And
For
our wait
sure.
time is well under 1 minute, which is
Wow.
incredible to be able to say. Yeah.
Yeah. I
That
think
is.
you mentioned how Faye's different than the other products that are in the market. But I had a question. So one of the things, just looking at the website, you
Yeah.
were talking, and we talked offline about how the money goes to the Faye wallet. How
Yeah.
can you actually spend that? Is it like Apple Pay, that kind of thing, or
Yeah.
how exactly does that work?
So one of the key differentiators of Faye is I would say, we're super tech driven. We're very quick and digital. So we provide speedy reimbursements directly to Faye Wallet. Faye Wallet is our secure digital payments card. It works just like Apple Pay or Google Pay. So if you qualify for an immediate trip inconvenience, we'll send $200 directly to your Faye Wallet in real time. That way you can tap and pay for things like food or drinks while you're waiting at the airport rather than paying out of pocket. Or rather
That's
than
awesome.
waiting to receive snail mail, like we're in the 80s or something. Um,
Right.
Mhm.
yeah, and you can, and I know I already said this, but you can also file claims in app and then also receive the reimbursements that you're owed via Faye Wallet. And if you don't want to use your money in Faye Wallet, you can transfer those funds directly to your bank account.
Oh, that's fantastic. And
Yeah.
that
Yep,
is a major difference than any
huge.
other product that I'm aware of. So,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
huge. We cracked the code on it.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to ask you about COVID. I mean, it's not what it was, but it's still around. And there are people that when they're going on a trip, there's that fear of booking a trip and paying for things and, the fear of contracting it. But then there are the people that actually do get it. So how does Faye handle the COVID-19 thing all the way around?
Yeah. So it's a great question. COVID-19 is still very top of mind, especially for
Mhm.
travelers. So first and foremost, we treat COVID-19 like any other illness defined in our policy, and we really go the distance to make sure you're protected if you contract the virus pre-trip or in-trip. So if you become, and by the way, on our website, we have an entire page dedicated to COVID-19.
Mm.
So feel free to check it out. If you become ill with COVID-19, our plan can cover non-refundable trip cancellation costs, emergency medical expenses, and quarantine accommodation costs. So I'll give you two super clear examples. The first is pre-trip. You bought Faye travel insurance for your upcoming trip and you contract COVID-19 pre-trip, resulting in you having to cancel your trip. So in this scenario, 100% of your non-refundable trip costs will be covered up to your estimated total trip cost. So that's your policy limit. And during the purchase process, we ask you for that estimated total trip cost.
Right.
And this can include flight tickets, hotel bookings, and any prepaid shows or activities. And then the second example is in-trip. So if you unfortunately contract COVID-19 during your trip, you're covered for up $250K for international travel and $50K for domestic travel and emergency medical expenses. So that's prescriptions, hospitalization, et cetera. Your trip interruption expenses can be covered, like quarantine accommodation, et cetera. There are a couple of other scenarios. Again, you can go to our website, but I also want to point out that whenever you buy a Faye policy, you also have that 24/7 access to our customer experience team working weekends, after hours, holidays, real people. They can help you find the most local emergency center, but also they can provide you with some Netflix recommendations because you're stuck inside.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
needed. Cool. So the next thing with insurance, pre-existing conditions. Can you talk a little bit about how Faye handles those?
Yeah, so we get this question a lot. Again, clearly address it on our site. So pre-existing conditions can be covered as long as you purchase your plan within 14 days of your initial trip deposit, which is, when you book your hotel or your flights, and are medically able to travel when you purchase your plan. And I also want to say, Faye's plan covers you if you experience pregnancy complications while traveling as well. And I'll go back to what I said before. Most health insurance plans do not fully cover illness or treatment while you're traveling outside of the state. So check with your travel insurance provider before your next trip and your health insurance provider as well to make sure you're protected to the fullest.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to talk about trip delay. I know that trip delay is handled a little bit differently with Faye than other carriers. So can you tell us how Faye handles that disruption?
Yeah. So, we define trip delay as when you're stranded in transit due to reasons outside of your control, such as a flight delay or a theft of passport. And I'll give a recent example. So we had a couple that was on their way to elope abroad a few weeks ago, and their flight was canceled due to what turned into a level 4 hurricane. So because of the situation, they were delayed overnight to wait for their next flight. That flight was canceled again. They were delayed overnight again. I can go on and on, but the situation triggered a few trip delay reimbursements. And we handled those reimbursements super quickly in real time via Faye Wallet. So we sent them funds to their Faye Wallet and they were able to, purchase things like warmer clothes because they were now stranded in New York City rather than in Puerto Rico, food, drinks, cab rides, etc. So we're going to tell you up front when you are eligible for a reimbursement rather than wait for you to find out and come to us. And when it comes to trip delay, we also offer, $300 a day and a max of $4,500 per trip.
Wow.
Okay.
Let me know when lack of proper packing becomes a covered item, because I think I would qualify for that just about every trip.
Yeah. I'm breaking my suitcases left and right because of too much.
Yes.
Problems.
Well, so looking at the website, there's a couple of things that are of growing interest to family travelers that Faye covers. Let's talk about the pet care, the vacation rental protection, and adventure and extreme sports coverages. Are those add-ons? How does that work?
Yeah, so I'm glad you're bringing up our add-ons. These are trip extras that may or may not be relevant to your trip. In general, our base policies, they're whole trip travel insurance. So they cover your trip, your health, and your stuff. And then we have these supplements that you can add on. So vacation rental damage protection provides up to $3K in coverage if you unintentionally damage the vacation rental property you're staying in or its contents while in trip. Then you have pet care if you're bringing your best furry friend along, and that covers up to $2.5K in veterinary expenses if your pup, your pet, etc., experiences pet sickness or injury. We recently also launched adventure and extreme sports coverage for the thrill seekers. So that provides up to $250K on international trips for accidental and sickness expenses or $50K on domestic trips. That includes medical and transportation coverage if you become injured while participating in an extreme sport like a skydiving activity or bungee jumping. I'm not sure if that's, adventurous, family-friendly kind of trip that you're seeing booked a lot, but we have it.
I was
And
thinking though, like a what are they OCR races, like a Spartan race. My son has done that with me, and I just wondered if that kind of thing would be covered. It seems like that would fall under that tier.
I'll definitely have to get back to you because I was looking up Ironmans the other day. So if you contact our customer experience team, they will get back to you about that ASAP. So I
So
definitely
probably a good thing to do if you're considering using that add-on is to contact and make sure that whatever adventure and extreme sport you were looking to do was actually covered under the policy.
Yeah, exactly. And again, we list those very clearly on the website.
Gotcha.
But again, customer service team available 24/7. I will say the last one and our last add-on, it's actually our most popular. So it's canceled for any reason, referred to as CFAR. You have the ability, if you purchase CFAR, to nix your trip for reasons other than those covered in your plan's trip cancellation coverage, including fear of contracting COVID-19, or if you simply just don't want to go anymore.
Right.
If you do have CFAR, do cancel, you get reimbursed for up to 75% of those non-refundable trip costs, and you're eligible as long as you purchase this coverage within 14 days of your initial trip deposit and cancel your trip within 48 hours in advance of your scheduled departure date. So CFAR, of course, we've seen popularity because of today's current travel climate, or because maybe people are a bit more nervous to travel. So it's definitely something to look into.
All right. Perfect. All right. So Lauren, can I put you on the spot for a minute?
Maybe.
I want to know, you obviously know a lot about travel. I'd like to know, what are your personal favorite places to travel and why?
Okay, so that's actually pretty easy for me. So domestic, it would be Montana and Tennessee. I think there's no other place like Tennessee in terms of personality, food, the Smoky Mountains, etc.
Yeah.
Montana, I think you can't beat the beauty. And then internationally, I would say Norway. I traveled there earlier this year. I saw the Northern Lights. It was
wow,
stunning.
Man. I'm a little jealous. So
yeah, it was awesome. I can't wait to go back.
Awesome. Well, for more information on Faye, as Lauren mentioned, you can go to withfaye.com, or you can download the app on the Apple App Store and Google Play. Lauren, thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you
for having me, Dad. Thank you.
Hey everyone, if you're ready to plan your next family vacation, call my dad. He would love to help you as a certified travel agent. He never charges a fee to help you plan your vacation. Email him at rjones@starsteptravel.com. Get started planning your vacation today.
That does it for this week's show. Hey, don't forget to follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok. Join us next week as Rob talks about a recent trip disruption of his own and his review of the family trip to Pigeon Forge. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to The Family Vacationer. Make sure and subscribe to hear more of Rob and Danny.